Howdy folks, this is Tall Turtle here, and welcome back to American Stop Flight Simulator 2020. It's my first time flying in well over a month. I took some time off, even though I got really far ahead in video, so you didn't notice. But it's been a long time. The sim is updated a few times. I'm finally recording onto an SSD, which I already noticed an enormous difference than I did recording to a hard drive. And what else is new? I got my yoke cleaned out. You saw that video yesterday, I believe, even though I did that like 3 weeks ago. But it's the first time I've flown with my yoke cleaned out. We'll see how it goes. We have a short, cute little IFR flight today. Heading over to Ayers Rock in Australia. I'm going to fly the Outback for about 111 nautical miles or so for about half an hour. Head towards Ayers Rock, which is over there. And we're going to do an IFR flight into the famous airport there. The plan that I planned out ahead of time in the sim, based on real world weather, which is working right now, will take us left and away from Ayers Rock, but hopefully we'll still see it. If not, we'll do an IFR flight to Ayers Rock. I think of Ayers Rock every time I clean out my aquarium, because I have a rock in my aquarium that coincidentally looks exactly like it. So every time I do my aquarium maintenance, I think of Ayers Rock. And I'm like, it's about time we fly it, so that's what we're going to do. Anything else to say? I don't think so. We are starting at the runway because I forgot to select a parking area, which actually aren't even any parking areas. Because if you look... Oh no, there is parking over there. Oh well, I messed that up. That's okay. How do I put this thing away? There we go. Let's hop inside. We do have to restart the plane because I had all my stuff off when the sim started. I think it's just going to be a key... there it is right there. But it should be, because it's a Beechcraft. Is it going to run better now? Alright, good. So since it started up, I don't know if everything is going to be exactly how I want it to be here, because we normally use a checklist. Yay, real world weather's on. So the real world weather trick, which I've known for a long time now, but I haven't mentioned it because we haven't recorded something new in a month, is to, well, for me and most people, real world weather only works for the current flight. What now? What happened? What did I miss? Pitot heat is off. Every time you start a new flight and you don't restart the sim, you will not get real world weather. Now some people say you can select clear skies and then go back to live weather and it works. That doesn't work for me, but even if it did, you're already in the sim and you're not going to get the weather without an ATIS. If you have, well, you might have one available, but anyway, fuel is fine, everything is fine. Man, I forgot how to use this. I was learning this stuff so well too, but it's been a long time. So Ayers Rock, if we go up a little bit with the pointer, Ayers Rock is right here. I was going to go directly over it, but I wanted to do an actual approach, and based on real world weather at the time I started this, wind is coming from 144 degrees, so we're going to use runway 13, because 130 degrees is only 14 off from 144, so we're going to use runway 13, land into the wind, slight crossing from the right. We'll see if it's really that way when we get there though, and that might not be the active runway. For this flight, I pre-chose my approach based on the weather the sim was giving me. Keep in mind, the other way to do it is to not choose an approach and have ATC give you a transition and approach. But I wanted to do one just because I like to go back and forth, right? So what I'm getting at here is the sim might have the other runway be the active runway, even though it's not the appropriate one for the weather. So we might get a head-on collision like we did in Princess Juliana. So we'll see how this goes. Let's just zoom this in right for now so I can make sure we get going. Because the sim started us at the end of the runway, since it wasn't paying attention, we're going to get, let's reset barometer. We already got our clearance. Maintain 6,000 feet is what we're going to do. That's what I did put that part ahead of in the sim. Where's my autopilot stuff? Right here. I can't see. Hang on. What's my preset for this thing? It's been such a long time. That works. Alright, so we want altitude to be 6,000 feet. And we are going to follow nav. Flight director's on. There we go. We're going to follow nav. And vertical speed of, I think we can go pretty steep in this thing. Let's do 1100. And that's it. It is that simple. lights and everything already on. So here we go. Take out that parking brake and give it some juice. And let's go. We got to announce that departure, actually, don't we? Because we're untowered.
Yankee Foxtrot Romeo Golf Traffic Turtle Sook Tango Sierra
Hey,
4105.
this is really hard to do.
Runway 35 departure to
I
north.
was reading what it was telling me while I was trying to do this, so that didn't go very well, but that's okay. Positive rate, right? Step on the brakes. Gear coming up, flaps coming up. And we're immediately, because we can, see what happens here. Engage autopilot. Boom. Hands free already. So we're doing IFR with autopilot. That's all you got to do. It is so simple. But it's fun though, as long as it's not like 3 hours of sitting here. So we're gonna look around in a minute. Once we get established here, we have to make sure it actually establishes us, and then we'll continue with our flight. So it's not all just sitting around. You still got to do stuff in the beginning and the end, but you sit around in the middle, which is why I don't like doing 3-hour flights. Expedite my climb to 6,000. Dude, I'm going like 1,100 feet per minute, and we're at 5,200. Whatever. Quit complaining at me. We already contacted center. I'm going to take a screenshot of that because that's amazing. And let's just have a look here at where we're coming from. It is sunrise, by the way. I think I forgot to say that. There you go. Nice sunrise view of the airplane. There we go. Trying to get another screenshot in here. When I say screenshots, what I do is I take a whole bunch of screenshots, and then one of them becomes a thumbnail. But I take about a dozen or so just to determine which one is going to be a thumbnail. So that's what I've been doing. Look how smooth this is. I know we're in a part of that world that, you know, is smooth, but everything is just so much smoother ever since I started recording to my SSD now. I can instantly tell a difference. Wow, what a difference. Look at this. Anyway, this part of the world is way more attractive than I thought it was going to be. I didn't know what to expect. But Australia is incredible. So we definitely need to add some more Australia flights to my flight list. This is amazing. This is crazy. I want to fly to Tasmania too. I've done that before. That's fun. Alrighty. In fact, maybe we'll do that soon. Alright, let's hop inside. Anything we need to do here before things get away from us? We'll come up to $6,000. We're going to go as fast as we can without blowing things up. And ATC, I contacted Melbourne Center. I cut that out of the video because it's just talking. You can see it there if you want to see what happened. So just going to hang out. And if we're not going to clear these mountains, I will request. Maybe we do need to request. Let's increase our flight rate by $2,000. Request altitude increase. Increase by 2,000 feet. Will it let us? Let's see what it says here.
Request 8,000 feet.
There we go. Climb and maintain 8,000 feet. Vertical speed. We'll do another.
Climb and maintain 8,000 feet. Turtle Soak Tango
1,000 feet per minute or so. That'll take 2 minutes to get up there then. Alright, that should get us over this terrain. We're still going to get some train turbulence, which I love so much because other simulators don't have that. Alright, we're just... Oh, yeah, and then we can come back down after this. Then we'll just request a decrease after that. Back to 6,000. Okay, simple enough. Let's go like that so we can see when we're beyond it. Is there any other information we're going to get? Flight plan. It just tells us... Oh, it's just putting us here. User. Let's see. Those are our runway altitudes. It's not telling us anything between on this one. That's okay, but we know that we are shooting for 1,600 feet for descent because remember now, we learned before, when we fly with ATC, we still have to do some of it ourselves because ATC just isn't that amazing, but that's okay. It's better than it used to be. And this is already programmed for us. Okay, so there we go. Nothing else to do here except watch for the yellow. Then once we pass the yellow, we'll come back down to 6,000 feet. So a little bit of sightseeing for you, and then I'll see you when we request a descent after these hills. it's time to ask for our decrease of altitude. Let's go back down 2,000 feet, see if they'll give it to us. They don't always
Melbourne
do.
Center, Turtle Soup Tango Sierra,
Let's see what they say.
4105. Request 6,000 feet.
And there we go. Good. Alright, so we will descend 800 feet per minute. If I get down there.
Descend and maintain 6,000
And we'll keep the
feet. Turtle
throttles
Soup
up in
Tango
case we
Sierra,
redline here.
4105.
If we redline, we'll bring them back, but I don't mind increasing our speed a little bit either. Otherwise, I've been changing fuel tanks, by the way. When they get out of balance, I come down here and switch tanks. One time I did actually turn it off because I scroll wheeled the wrong way, but that all works. I believe Ayers Rock is this bumper right there. We're going to head towards it, but then veer left to take the published approach. Hopefully, like I said, the approach I chose based on real world weather, which we're using, matches the active runway in the sim. If it doesn't, it's going to get all funky. Like, we'll follow it, but then it won't clear us. You'll see. If it doesn't work, you'll see. If it does work, we'll see together. So a little bit more sightseeing, and when we get closer to the rock and we get some instructions from ATC, we will reconvene from there. Okay, jumping back in already. We already got our assigned approach, and Ayers Rock is over here. Not there, which has popped in during sightseeing, I guess. So what is it telling us? Let's see. Okay, so keeps to be below 210. That is not a problem. This is the approach I pre-selected in the flight planning screen, and that transition they gave us, and we're clear to the transition. And we acknowledged it, but let's see if we actually, if that's actually what they want us to do. Like, it's what I planned it to do. Okay, it is gonna be the same. So what happened before when I did this is the transition was like over here in a different airport. It was the Cape, I think it was the Cape Town one. Or the approach was transition was somewhere else, and it was just a mess. So this is gonna work, I guess. Good, so we're going to keep following along. We do not, again, have any altitude. That's all on us. We just know that the runway is at 1,600 feet. So let's plan our top of descent here. What are we at? We're at 6,000. And how many miles out did it say? It said 47 miles out. We have to come down to 1,600, so let's make that 2,000. That's come down 4,000. What is it, 4,400? 4,400 at 1,000 feet per minute. That is 1.5 minutes or so. I mean, 4.5 minutes or so. And do 164 knots. We're 47 out. So we won't come down quite yet. We're going to see if, well, are they going to tell us to come down? Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. So we're going to stay at this until we get probably right to like here. And then we'll start coming down. So let's look at the rock together and keep our ears available for ATC. Well, there's the rock. We're about as far away as I expected us to be in terms of perspective, but that thing is enormous. It's like 3,000 feet tall or something like that. So, where does that put us in terms of our airport? Airport is right over there in that town. So, we'll probably come back another time and do a VFR flight of the rock. I wanted to do an IFR flight because we don't do enough IFR flights. So, I just wanted to do one and see it from afar. Because when you're flying real life too, if you're on a jet or something, you don't get to always see what you want because the plane's going to go where the plane's going to go. Alright, let's see. Let's start coming down a little bit, I guess. Let's step us down. Well, if I step us down to 4,000, it's going to get mad at us, won't it? It'll tell us to expedite our approach or climb back to 6,000. Let's give it a chance. If it hasn't had us climb yet by our waypoint here, then we will nosedive. So, anyway, let's see. When are they going to give us instructions? We're actually really sticking close. So, there's the rock. There's the airport. We're getting some train turbulence, even though we're nowhere near these mountains yet. I assume we're going to turn before the mountains, but we're still 3 minutes out. I like the view. We got hills and mountains back there, then we have the rock there. Sun is coming up. It's windy than the dickens. Hopefully the wind hasn't changed or anything, and this will be the best runway to land. That's a nice shot too, isn't it? Alright, we're supposed to descend, although never told us to? That's weird. 4,700 it is, so there's 4,700. Come down. I'm going to go down pretty aggressively because it's mad at us. That's 1,100 feet per minute. And bring back throttles a little bit so we can buy ourselves some time vertically. That's weird. They never told us to descend until now, and it's mad at us. That's okay. Let's descend. Where'd the rock go? It's back there somewhere. Can we even see from here? There it is. In the haze. This turbulence is hilarious. I know it's because we're close to terrain, but it's really funny. It's way worse when you're inside. Look at this. This is super cool, though. Wow, that turbulence. Alright, I think it's going to turn us. It's going to try to turn us. We're about at 4,700 feet. No further instructions. Okie dokie. Trying to see where we're going. There's a town over there somewhere. Somewhere there's a town. Now it tells us to descend and maintain 4,700. I already did.
Climb and maintain 4,700 feet.
So we
Turtle
got
Sub Tango Sierra,
yelled at before we got the
4105.
instruction. That's hilarious. Hilarious, I say. But anyway, we're making progress here. Surely and slowly but surely. IFR flights, when you do the approach, seem to take longer than the actual cruise time. And somewhere in here's an airport. I saw the beacon before, I can't see it now. It's there though, I promise. What do we got? 2 minutes till it turns us onto a nice long final? That should be good. It's an RNAV, so once we get our stuff here, this should change over automatically, and then I'll hit approach on the autopilot, which is right there. That should bring us down, and then we'll land. Cool. Very simple. Alright, there's our approach clearance.
Turtle Sub Tango Sierra.
Now what?
4105.
Okay, we're not gonna do. Well, let's do the ATIS. Why not? Let's do this as thoroughly as we can. Wind 135, so that's going to be pretty much a straight-in wind on her, based on her heading, or heading of the wind, heading of the runway. To be straight on, not much crosswind. Very nice. Okay, let's tune in traffic. Let's announce position, and then we're going to do final here. Ooh, we get to stare at the rock. Nice. Alright, we're way too high. Way too high. Let's do a nice long final. So that's number 6. Then we can put that away. Let's bring this all the way down. I think the runway was 1,600, so let's do 1,600. Vertical speed, let's nose down super steeply. See, our glide slope is red, but see how it's we're way above it because the way they told us to come down. So we're going to do a very steep approach, which is how you have to do things when you use ATC for your altitude. You end up nosediving at the end, but We are on a final. I think that is our runway right there. I think. And there's the rock. Very nice. Let's come in here and zoom this in a little bit. And let's slow down. So we can slow down horizontally, bias time vertically. I mean, that might not be a runway, but it sure looks like it. As soon as this glide slope comes into play, means it starts to move, we'll hit approach. But we're a little high to hit approach, I think. So let's just bring back throttles and slow this bird down to bias time. And then we'll take over manually in a minute here. Final views outside. Let's bring this back a little bit. Look at that. There's the rock. Let's do this as our screenshot. Bring it up a little bit. Then we have the rock in the background while we're doing IFR approach and landing. And there's the train. And again, this part of the world is gorgeous with the scenery and the photo telemetry, whatever the words are. The planes flying over, the satellites flying over. We get great imagery. Now we're lower than the rock. And we're going to hop inside. And we're going to land a plane. So we're coming down really steeply. Whoa. We missed the glide slope because I was too busy screwing around. Let's hit approach. This should change us over now. Maybe. No. Dang it. Okay. Let's bring this up. And let's bring this up a little bit. I didn't mean to go like that. I meant to go like this. Like that. There we go. Approach did not do anything.
500.
I don't see a glide slope is armed. It could be that word. Yeah. I screwed that up. Alright, well, let's just keep it going here. Let's slow things down. I should not have been looking around during the last bit. Let's slow this thing way down. Gear coming down. What's that say? Check what? It went, oh, check gear. Gear's down for set of flaps. Glide slope is armed. I'm going to see if it's going to actually do anything. We might be too low too soon to do anything. So normally when you start, being established on glide slope and things, you can hit approach. It'll bring you down, and then you take over. But because we're looking around, we blew right through it. We screwed it up. So normally that wouldn't have happened. How many sets of flaps do we have on this thing? Where's my flap thing? Okay, 2 sets. So we're down. We're gonna have to take over manually in a second here because it's not gonna cooperate. But that's okay. That's my own fault. Keep our speed up. Way too slow too soon for final approach. But that's fine. Let's just stare at the rock in the background. Again, you can tell it's a hand modeled thing. Is a interest because it looks different. Alright, now it says we're too high. Glide slope says we're too low. Approach, it still has it armed, but I did notice that this kept changing from that to GPS, whatever, a glide slope. I really don't care because we're going to take over manually in a second. Let's just do it now. We're way too high, it says, and we're to the right a little bit. So let me get comfortable on my chair and on my rudders. Oh boy, I shifted since this flight started. And let's land the plane like normal. We're not going to be able to crosswind because we're only, well, we're closer than 5 degrees off. So we're not going to worry about it too much. Do not get distracted by the rock. I know my props are in the red. I just flung them forward here. Alright, here we go. We're getting blown around a little bit. But not bad. It should be a pretty simple, straightforward landing. I'm not worried about touching down right away because it'll be a long taxi if we do. I guess I could touch down right away and then back taxi, but we're just going to just have a nice long, soft approach. We're not doing a landing contest or anything. Alright, let's start getting down back on the... See, now it says we're right on glide slope. Even though it says we're too high there, so... I don't know. Doesn't really matter. Put the lines between your legs so you're centered. Aim for those numbers. And then we're just going to ride it out. We're just going to ride it out just because we're on a very, very long runway. So here we go. Ground effects taking over. Get centered a little better. And smooth touchdown. There we go. I tried too hard to be centered. Nose wheel down very gently. My yoke is all the way back, by the way. And nose wheel came down on its own. Flaps coming in. And we're just going to go till the next turn off here, wherever that might be. Alright, slow down. Here we go. And I forgot to start the timer, didn't I? It'll tell us at the end of the flight. Alright, come here. Slow down. Slow down. What are we going to do here? We are going to taxi to parking wherever that is. So now it's a clear runway.
Yankee
And
Alpha
are we going to
Yankee
get a
Echo traffic
taxi
turtle
ribbon
Tango
so we
Sierra
park where we want to?
4105 is clear of the runway.
I keep seeing low volts. Is that what that says? Alright, we're not going to get a taxi ribbon, it looks like. Which I guess is okay. The only parking is up here. I just want to make sure we get credit for the IFR part of it. That's why we're looking for a taxi ribbon to park in the correct spot so we get it to count. Don't know. Hopefully this will work. Let's come down here and turn some lights off. Use this so we don't go off the taxiway here. I'm trying to look at two things at once. Nav. That can... Let's do that. No, I had it right. Where are landing lights on this thing? I think that's these. I can barely see them. I think that's what that says. Alrighty, good. We didn't crash. Not sure what flight time is. Because I forgot to start the timer. Hopefully it tells us. My recording time is over an hour, but I know that's not flight time. Alright, is that our... Those are people there. Why does it keep saying low volts? Oh, it's obviously something that get turned on when the sim started the plane for me, but it doesn't matter now. Other than get that sound. Is this our person? I sure think so. Stop dinging at me, jeez. Okay. I don't see a box though. I guess that's because there's no ribbon. Whoa, what? What happens? What is... We're not out of fuel. I know it kept saying low volts. Did I turn something off I wasn't supposed to? I mean, the batteries are on. Everything is... How bizarre, huh? I don't understand. Whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Stop. I just want to get to my person. That's what happens when the simulator starts it for us, huh? Oh, well. And that's not for us, is it? Because you're not going to get happy no matter what I do. Fine, whatever. Let's do parking brake. Let's shut this thing down and see if we get our credit or not. You have to do different things for different airplanes. We're going to get our stuff. There it is. 45 minutes. So that is 12 minutes longer than it's supposed to be. Even though I had it firewalled. So I'm going to plan a few more things and probably some Australia flights. Otherwise, my list of VFR flights is like 35 deep. But I've really been enjoying screwing with ATC to see if we can like do things the way they want us to. And it's been fun. More fun for me than you, I'm sure. But anyway, thank you for coming back. And I'll see you next time.